Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, let's make sure this mic's working. I have a feeling that it's a little bit low right now, but mic test, mic test. So today I have a new topic. Can you be friends with your ex? And this topic actually came up from a question someone put in the comments. So I'm going to go over this. T Rose, what's up? On deck. If I had a prize, I'd give it to you, bud. Thanks for supporting the channel always. But what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to go through this side post that someone put on the last live stream, and I'm going to answer a question directly because it was in the comments, and we'll go from there. So if you want to answer any of these questions that I put above, I think it's an interesting topic, and a lot of questions come in on this. This is finally going to be a good one. Okay. This is fitting to be a good one, right? So yeah, go ahead and answer these questions if you guys like, but I'm going to go over this really quick and then I'll come back. So this is from the Bloody Black Jackal. That's literally his name on the post. And this is a comment. So can you do a video on exes who consider you their best friend and are clingy, but don't want to date you? So first of all, to the question, short answer is, exes who consider you their best friend and are clingy, I don't know why you'd want to hang out with them unless you're trying to take that as an angle to somehow get back together. But they don't want to date you. So right there, you got to accept the fact that they're playing games, they're cat-pawing you, they're not all in. And, I mean, I just don't like hanging around with clingy women anyways, let alone one that's my best friend. If it's going to be my best friend, it's going to be a platonic friendship, then you got to be able to maybe like have a beer and watch a ball game and do some guy type stuff, I guess. But, you know, sliding from being your girlfriend, your full-time partner, to best friend, whatever that means too, because the term best friend for me, it always changes because, you know, at any given moment, someone's like, oh, you're my best friend. I have a lot of friends and acquaintances, but I mean, at any given moment in your life, you really have a circle of 5 to 10 friends that you actually hang out with. And then you got a lot of long distance friends, or at least I do. And they were once, quote unquote, maybe best friends. But at the moment, you know, best friends change. So the title of best friend can come and go, and it depends on. Some people hold that a lot higher than others. They're like, no, that's my best friend. That's the best friend I've ever had. For me, there's a different definition for that. So I disappeared on my long distance ex. She was my best friend before we started dating. Well, that's fine. You know, if you were best friends before you started dating, you became quote unquote best friends while you were dating. But after you break up to continue being best friends, I don't think in your case it's doable. Within a week, she started apologizing for treating me poorly and begging me to stay because I was the best friend she ever had. Well, if you've ever, I mean, what does best friend mean to her? She asked to have one last talk, so I decided to give her that. Ultimately, I told her that the friendship wasn't enough for me and that goodbye didn't have to be forever. I said if she ever changed her mind or felt like she really needed someone to talk to, she could send me an email. So a couple of things here. If you're not able to get over the hurdle of being more than friends, there's probably an attraction issue. And don't take that personal, but that's just reality. And that's not just physical. There's something about you. Or that individual taking it to the next step and getting intimate scares them because of their past relationship or something in their past. So they could have a fear of intimacy that has nothing to do with you. So those are two different paths or answers to why she would want to just stay best friends. Yes, we did try to maintain a friendship after the breakup. The first few months weren't horrible, but then she started getting hot and cold. Well, she doesn't know what she wants, it sounds like. She admitted during our last talk it was because she found someone IRL. I don't know what that means. Also, yes, I did start to get needy towards the tail end of the friendship, but she also apologized for going cold on me and said my silence made her realize how much she had been putting me through. Well, bottom line is it's not an ideal relationship. You need to start spinning some plates, going out with some other women, having some fun, and don't spend your time on someone that's quote unquote a best friend that isn't really committed to maybe hooking up and taking to the next level, and you are, and she isn't, that's agree to disagree and move on, my friend. And the fact that you're disappointed because you had this connection, well, your connection to her is different than her connection to you. And that's where people get really tied up, is they go, oh, well, I feel this way, I feel that way. Well, the other person doesn't feel the same way, and that's why it's not going to work. So I almost feel like keeping friendship is one of the only ways to get them back. Not best friend, but just being friendly. Okay. What's interesting about doing this, it's possible. You might go to one other channel and they might say, no, you could never do that. Is it possible? Yeah. I think you're playing, I would have to know how the breakup happened. And if you're going to play that role, Mr. Christian Martin, AKA Hooper, if you're going to play that role, right, you got to be really fucking honest with yourself, because that individual that you went out with for a long time, they know you and they know the game you're running if they're smart, right? So if you're going to go into it like, oh, I'm just going to be friends and this will possibly get me back in the door, could it work? Yeah. But if that's your way of going about it, that's a little bit tricky. It's a little coyote move. And, I would rather hold my head up high, go into no contact, move forward, and, not put myself in an awkward situation where she calls me up and starts talking about some guy she's talking to, because that's what they'll do. A lot of times, a lot of women will just test you like, oh yeah, I just met this guy at the mall and and you're my friend, right? So they'll start testing the friendship, and that's when it gets fucking real, right? Oh, I thought I could just be friends. I remember when I was young, I was like, broke up with a girl on my terms because of my reasons, and they were valid, and we worked in the same store and department store, and immediately it was like, oh yeah, this is a guy that I just went to lunch with. It's like, fuck, it's hard to just go like, oh yeah, you're seeing someone else new, or you like someone else, throw it in my face. Well, you're friends now. You see what I mean? You see what you're setting yourself up for? Justin Bieber is on deck. LL. Good evening, Mac. How are you, bro? Justin Bieber. Okay. Is there anyone else you like other than Justin Bieber, possibly, Dylan? I know you like him quite a bit. This is a cluster fuck of a topic. I can be friends with one night stand, but someone I fell in love with, no way. That's pretty clear. That's pretty boundaries. I mean, when I was younger, friends with benefits was nice. That was ideal to me. Not a lot of pressure, not a lot of expectations. I mean, it's not like I did it a bunch of times, but when someone would go, yeah, that's cool with me, I'd be like, fuck yeah. But I mean, for some other people, that's like all or nothing. You just got to be honest and upfront. Mayo on deck, Toronto's finest. No, I'm sorry, you're not from Toronto. You just like the Raptors. This person you dated, okay, they just hid your. This person you dated, you've had sex with them. You've had their junk in your face, possibly. You can't be friends with someone after that, but that's just me. And that is just you. Everyone, like I said, this is like a core statement. Everyone regards love in a different way. Everyone regards the relationship. Every communication can be viewed as a miscommunication because it's coming from two different directions. So someone that says that, but you need to lead and know where your power is in the ideal of, do I really want to be friends with her, or am I just trying to get back with her? Right. But there's plenty of guys out there that would just go, I'll just throw, I can be friends. I mean, I've been cordial, but I don't want to sit there and be like, oh, let's hang out now that we're platonic. My ex reached out last week via Messenger and said we could start talking again as friends, which I declined as I want to be romantic. Saw her at the bar Sunday, and I was with another woman. Thoughts? Well, that puts you in a good position because you weren't trying. You weren't being an asshole. You weren't trying to be tricky, and she saw you with another woman, and you were doing your thing, and you were upfront and honest, Mayo. So fucking kudos to you. And that's what you should do. And let's just take it a step further, bro. We could start talking again as friends. Says who? You? So she's in the driver's seat going, yeah, I've made a decision. I just we haven't talked for a while, but I've decided we can be friends first, and then we can ease it along because I'm running this ship. And that would just be a turn off to me. Like right away, it's like, no, That's okay. I mean, if she did, instead of saying as friends to put this fucking label of safety on it, it's like, hey, let's go get a drink. Cool. Let's go get dinner. Don't put any of that shit up front. Hey, let's go get dinner and let's go have a good time. Let's just put this friends label to the side. If she needed to say that you wanted to be friends, if you wanted to reverse it, you could go, look, that's fine. You want to get a drink? Go out, see if you still have a connection, see if you still, are attracted to each other, see what happens, and go into it with no expectations. Otherwise, keep going out with other women, dude. She thinks she's sly. Why would she come out of the blue after 5 months, no contact, just to talk as friends? Well, I think she's come out before, right? G Money, JC Kavanaugh. I mean, at this point, what do you want, Mayo? Would be my next question. What do you want from that situation? You said, oh, you want to be romantic. Do you really want to be with someone like this playing these games? I mean, if you're starting to be with other women at the bar and stuff, are you starting to kind of embrace the fact that you're single and you could meet someone that's possibly a better match that doesn't play fucking games? What's a good friend? Someone I can trust and won't betray me like a load of people at my old high school did. I started to become friends with them and then slowly, but they changed. Well, that's, this is one of those things where something happens to you one time where someone betrays you and you start looking for it in other people. And, that happening at the high school level, I don't think is uncommon, but don't carry that with you now that you're a full on adult, because you'll end up like calling people out and be needy and clingy as a friend. But yeah, definitely people that betray you, you just drop them. I mean, I'm fortunate in my life. I don't think I felt full on betrayal. There's a really good friend of mine, and I was like, why are you so, I've talked about this before. Why are you so tough with people up front? And he said someone stole from his house when he was 11 years old. And so he just doesn't trust people as friends. She didn't come over or say hi at the bar on Sunday. I was with a beautiful woman, but kept peeking at her. Well, curiosity got the cat, but I'm sure she saw you. She felt awkward. The fact that she didn't come up, you can make a lot of different stories from that, but you were in the driver's seat in that case, my friend, especially if she was beautiful, because that's all she was doing is like, how hot is she? Oh, she's this. Women love to judge other women. Mayo, sounds like you came out on top, bud. She saw you firing on all cylinders with another woman, acting chill and cool. You'll hear from her again, I bet. Yeah, I think G Money's on point with that. And like I said, that's what I meant. It's like you were in a good position and you weren't trying. You weren't calculating like, oh, maybe I'll see her. Maybe I'll see her at this bar when I'm with this person. Some people like try to set some shit up. Go out and have a good time, be yourself. And if you're hanging out with a beautiful woman, what's wrong with that, right? So let's go back through these questions. I'll unpack them a little bit. Can you be friends with your ex? Yes or no? My answer, short answer, yes. But the terms would have to be no expectations of getting back together immediately. What's the distance in between you and her breaking up or you and him breaking up? And what terms did you break up? I mean, it's very uncommon, well, at least for me, where people go, yeah, the breakup is great for both of us. We're just fine with things. Someone always feels shorthanded. Someone always feels guilty. I mean, these are the dynamics. So to just go into a friendship and be like peaches and cream, it can happen, but it's not common. And I think that when you're good friends with someone or you have a friend, you don't try to be a good friend. You don't try to hang out. And I think if you're with an ex, you're trying to be friends. You're trying to make it work. And that just doesn't come off natural. Best friends with your ex? What's your definition of best friends is my first question. I would say that this is most likely a tactic to stay close to them. And you're going to end up hurting yourself again. If you guys broke up as partners, really when you're boyfriend and girlfriend or you're married, I mean, isn't it very similar to people use that term like she's my best friend or he's my best friend. Yeah, it's very similar. You support each other. You help each other out. You're there for each other. So basically, you're just the same relationship, but you don't get any of the intimacy. And your new best friend that you're no longer intimate with can actually share details. Because what do you do with your friend when you start dating someone? You're going to tell them, oh, I met someone, or I started dating this person. You don't want to hear that shit. What does it mean to be friends to you? So this is a definition for you to ask yourself. I mean, a friend to me, someone that you get on with really well. You got some things in common. They got good morals, good values, good sense of humor. Is your ex still that person? Or are you really just trying to make them that person? Are you interested in friends with benefits? So, if you broke up, a lot of times, especially in young, people in their 20s, they can easily segue to like, well, we still meet up like 2 or 3 times a month and we hook up because you're lonely and you don't have someone as a backup plan. That's fine. Someone probably is going to catch feelings and want to get back together. But if you're agreed upon it, just know that you're both open on the market. And if that's okay with you, then go into it. It's fine. How many friends do you really have? This is a really good question to ask, because I'm not talking about social media friends. I couldn't count who I would consider my friends, but being that I've moved and lived in different areas for a while, I've went to different schools, I have a pretty eclectic group of friends, and a lot of friends at different ages. Actually, I've worked a few different places, and the funny thing is you'll revisit friends that you haven't seen for 4 or 5 years and you're still friends. But the real thing is the next part. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. True or not true? It's absolutely true. You don't know it, but you tend to copy your friends. You tend to do the same things, and they should make you feel how? Your friends should make you feel good about yourself. They should be supporting you. And unfortunately, not all friends do that. And some people think like, oh, this friend's so bad. Lose them. Get rid of them. Don't hang out with them so much. If they don't make you feel good about yourself or support you, or if they're always talking about themselves and never asking about you, they're never going out of their way for you, you have the right to stop hanging out with that individual. You don't have to be, it doesn't have to be a breakup, but what's a good friend? Someone that matches up with your values and morals, because in the end, that's the same thing as a partner too, right? Have you made a friend a girlfriend? For me, no. I would be probably open to the fact, but at this point in my life, no. And I've even had an ex call me up to tell me that they were getting married, just to let me know not to contact them again in a discreet way. It wasn't jerk. It wasn't like, I just want to let you know. It wasn't rubbing it in my face. It was like, look, we're in contact off and on, once every 3 months or 4 months. I'm getting married now. It's like, okay, I get it. She's like, don't be just calling me up out of the blue now. And I thought that was cool. That's good communication, to be quite honest. Thanks for the likes, folks. All right, let's get into this. Thanks for the comments here, folks. We can get back into this. You can't have true friendship when there is any sexual attraction in the air. How many breakups end with both people having no sexual attraction left at all? One person is left holding the bag. Yeah, that's a diverse group. There's plenty of times that I tell people, I go, cheers for the like. I tell people, I'm like, well, obviously you guys still have a lot of attraction based on what you just, you guys have been hooking up like mad and every time you see each other. But every situation is kind of different in that way. But you're right, G Money. If you're going to be friends, then the only other option, if you're still attracted to each other, is friends with benefits, and however you want to term that. And some people say you're seeing each other. Some people say, oh, I know she's still interested. But there can be an agreement in place where you're just like, oh, yeah, we hook up when we want to hook up. Is that natural if my breakup happened because she was looking for who can pay high-cost trips for just himself because I was not a partner in that? I'm a little lost on that. Is that natural if my breakup happened because she was looking for who can pay high-cost trips for just himself? No, that doesn't sound natural at all, even in the way you wrote it. But yeah, that doesn't sound natural. That doesn't sound very acceptable that they want you to pay for high-cost trips. I don't know if that's vacations to go on their own. Sometimes when you ask these questions, you know the answer already, right? And this lines up with your values or it doesn't. Yes, you don't want to hear they are dating someone else, but it's a chance to show and prove you are secure. Okay. I mean, I know what you're saying, Christian Martin, but if you're trying to prove something to them, if it's just true, you don't need to prove it and you don't care the outcome. But I see where you're coming from. Okay. Real friends don't leave the friendship when things go wrong. Your ex did leave. I guess so. I mean, in my case, in some of my breakups, I'm the one that broke up with him, or we kind of broke up. It wasn't just like, oh, I got dumped. It depends on how things went down too, and how you can be friends down the road. But if you still have interest in an individual and if you're hurting in any way, even if you knew the breakup was bad, you can't really be friends. Because like I said, once someone, this is the crazy thing too. Think about it this way. Even when you break up, your friends come to the side, and there's just one or two friends that are always trying to hook you up with one of their friends or trying to get you out of the weeds, and they're talking about it. So you're gonna end up like, all right, I'll just go out with someone. You're gonna tell your ex like, oh, I just been going out with so and so. It's just an awkward situation. Real friends don't leave. Even if you're not, it's an opportunity to practice handling your emotions. Yeah, I guess it's an opportunity to practice handling your emotions, but I don't know if handling your emotions is handling your environment and the people you're around, and the people you're around you can't control. So if you go hang out with an ex and you're quote unquote friends, and you guys go out for a drink because you're just friends, and some guy comes up to the bar and starts chatting with her, you're not going to be like, oh, this is cool, I'm just going to handle my emotions. It's certain circumstances. I guess, it depends on what it is. Almost 8 billion people on this earth. I should stay friends with my ex? Yeah, right. No way. This ex is the reason moving forward. I agree. I think there's special situations where you can, but for the most part, it doesn't work. I was at G Money. It was our 4th of July here in Quebec, and I was shooting smiles all over the place. Was secretly hoping she would see me, but that girl I was talking to was a model level hard 9. Well, what the fuck, man? I mean, don't get greedy, Mayo. Trust me, she saw if it was a 9. Be thankful that don't even be thankful. Be proud that you were with a 9 regardless. I mean, if she's looking or she's not looking, you're still with a girl that's a 9 in your book. You're still with some hot chick that you really like. So regardless of what happens with that ex, it's just an ego push. And I'm not knocking you for the ego push, but at this point, get a couple plates spin, man. I like a few other singers besides Bieber. Who are your favorite singers? How many friends do I have? More than what I did when I was a kid. I made a load of friends in college, which was the best thing. Yeah, change of scenery for friends, and working on who you were. And I was just talking to someone about this. This is kind of interesting about high school and stuff. High school is a stage, it's a chapter. Middle school is a stage, it's a chapter. Elementary school is a stage, it's a chapter. College is a stage, it's a chapter. There's moments within those areas where you change your identity and who you are as a person, maybe add some values and get some new friends. So sometimes this person was talking to me today about how bad high school was on them and how about they dealt with all these people. And I'm like, you got to reframe that and say it's over. It's done with. And now you can be someone that's a little bit more compassionate and friendlier to other people, because in high school, you have less of a choice. You live in a certain neighborhood, so your parents send you to that school depending on where you are and stuff like that. When you go to college, you kind of have more of a choice. There's a higher group of people when you work somewhere. So thank you for all your support and comments. No problem, man. You're good people, even if you are a Raptors fan. So you're at the bar with a 9 or 10 model, and you're telling me you're worried about what your used goods ex is thinking about the bar. How good was she, man? Love the one you're with. I don't have a problem with that, G-Man. I completely understand the ego thing, dude. We all get a little greedy, and you have momentum going. So that's completely natural. I know where G-Money's coming from, but it's completely natural to think, did she notice me over there? Especially if she didn't come over, she had just contacted you. I get it. It's easy for me to say it sitting here. You're right, G-Money, but I like my old 7 personal trader better. Haha, damn it. I never really used numbers and I don't mean that like I have a problem with it, right? Like, I'm just thinking about that. I've never been like, oh yeah, she's an 8, she's a 7, she's a 6. But it does give you an instant like, wow, a 9? To me, that sounds like a 9 or 10 that's a model sounds like extremely high maintenance. It's like buying a BMW. It's like someone buys a brand new BMW. I'm like, that's a lot of maintenance. It's expensive. You're right at G Money, but I like my old. Okay, I've been no contact for a month, and I heard my ex lost her job. I've been no contact for a month, and I heard my ex lost her job. So I'm sorry, what's your point? In Sayan. Does that mean she's vulnerable? Just saying, bro. Lots of dudes would be happy to date other hot women after the breakup. Absolutely. Mac's favorite singers are Josh Groban and Celine Dion. Who's Josh Groban, first of all? I don't know who the fuck that is. Celine Dion, I know who she is, but no, she's not one of my favorite singers. Who would be one of my favorite singers? I mean, if we're going to talk about just like singing, not a band or a group or, pure singing. I mean, as a pure singer, it's probably the best of all time is Whitney Houston. I don't listen to her a lot, but if I'm going to go pure singers like Christina Aguilera, Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin. As far as probably my favorite genre of music is probably 70s music, which would surprise people. Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Curtis Mayfield. I don't know if we qualify those as singers. They're not like Justin Bieber. But that's the kind of music I can listen to all the time. It's hard when people ask me about my ex, like, where is your girlfriend out or how is she doing? And my anxiety sparks and I don't even know how to say that she's engaged, married, or moved away. It's so hard when people ask about my ex. Where is your girlfriend out or how is she doing? Why? First of all, Christian, as a buddy, if it's a good friend, you just don't fucking ask that question after someone's broken up. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys that are on. I mean, guys and gals who are on here. I mean, the first time it's like, all right, yeah, like once your buddy's, and your buddy's hurting a little bit, that's a stupid question to be like, oh, where is she? What is she up to? I mean, I remember having a friend be like, do you want me to find out some info? No, I don't want to know any shit about it. I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. I got no contact. It's not ideal. It's not the greatest, but you know what? I got my fucking balls in my hands still. I'm not sitting here going, knocking at the door 100 times, sending flowers and stuff. Cause I knew it was done. I knew it was dust. And if you got friends like that are like, oh, what is she up to? Is she seeing someone else? What's that all about? Your friends should be like, hey, dude, let's go out. They don't know we broke up. It's people I haven't seen in a while who don't know we broke up. Okay. Well, then just give them a quick, like, so where is your girl? Just give them a quick one, like, we broke up. Don't give any details. We broke up. It didn't work out. That's it. And they should get the picture from there. You don't need to explain that she's engaged and married. Because if that cuts a wound for you every time, you don't need to go there. You just be like, we broke up. Didn't work out. Done. Short and sweet. Friends will be like, okay. Because a lot of people have been there before. They know that you don't want to talk about it. It wasn't a date. I just met her that night. I don't really want to roll in a Maybach at the moment. A little Luther Vandross. Who's the guy? Who's the what's his name? Barry? No. She keeps telling me this and telling me that. Who's that? Not Barry Manilow's the white guy. Who's the other one? It's on the tip of my tongue. After breakup, Barry White. Barry White's a cool dude, man. She keeps telling me this. Have you guys seen that video? I saw that recently, a few months back. It's just hilarious. After a breakup, my ex said that only one way to meet each other with only one group. Okay, after breakup, my ex said that only one way to meet each other with only one group. It was my social circle, but she said things about me to the guys and girls, and they turned to her instead of me. Well, that says something about that social group. That's an awkward situation to be in, but you certainly can find other groups to hang out with. So hard to say be friends is an option. Why would it be hard? Why would it be hard as an option? Because you feel like if that circle turned on you, they were probably going to turn on you anyways. Would be great that people use numbers when talking about people's personality. That's so fucking true, Sabina. That is so fucking true. That's a good point because personality fucking counts for a lot, right? I mean, I even noticed like energy, right? Like I know that sounds like a woo-woo term, but like people's energy and the way they act. Have you ever just been around someone and everyone likes them? Everyone's like, "Oh, she's so cool." Like people say it's pheromones, just energy. People that smile a lot. It's not by accident. But I can't, Sabina, I can't see guys sitting around the table like, she's got a 9 personality. Everyone would be like, what the fuck? It's just not guy talk, right? I don't know if women would even do that. I don't know if women would do that. You know, they would. It's funny that we just use that for looks. That's interesting. It's an interesting thing to unpack. But you're right. High school was an absolute, I won't say that word. We don't like that one in the States. When I was grade 9 and 10, everyone started to change. You'd get laughed at and you saw what happened. I loved college and best even. I liked college better than high school, but I liked middle school better than high school too. Everyone's different. Like I said, that's a chapter in your life. And now if you ever have a kid in the future or you have like a little cousin or something and he's going through a tough time, you're going to be more compassionate for it, dude. They don't know we broke up. It's people. Okay, I read that already. Mac, I agree. I make it pretty clear. My friends know me well enough to not bring up my ex. Yeah, Christian, I see where you're going with that, though. Like people that didn't know. Yeah, a good friend doesn't just keep throwing that around. But I, Christian, you clarified what the deal was. I like that personality. Personality was a 10. Have I made a friend a girlfriend? No, but it felt like I did with one girl from my hometown. She really liked me, and oh god, did she show me. Okay. Yeah, her charisma is like a 6, but damn boy, her humor is a 10. Humor's big, right? I mean, I like to joke around a lot. People that can get your sense of humor, because everyone's different. We all like to laugh, right? So you don't want to be with someone uptight that's hot. But there's a lot of people like that. Actually, people that put a lot of work into their looks are a little bit uptight sometimes. Tell me I'm wrong. Like someone that's a quote unquote 10 and you get to talking to them, you're like, wow. And they're looking in the mirror 15 times. I remember a girl that I had as a girlfriend, the first day we went out, she went with no makeup and it didn't look great. But I respected her for it. I was like, damn, you got some fucking confidence. Because when I met her, she was at work. She was all done up. She, was dressed in a skirt. She went out casual for the first time we went out. And she had like a personality 10, sense of humor 10 or 9, whatever. We had a great conversation. I was just like, damn, how secure are you? And at first I'm like, damn, you look a little different with the makeup off, just being honest to myself. Did you see that chick? Her honesty was at least a 9. Oh man, I think there's some kind of comedy show somewhere where they talk about women being so misleading because they have, they got to wear makeup, padded bras, all these extra things that kind of lie about how they really look or do. But I guess guys just lie with their mouths, huh? I saw many of the friends we used to hang out with, said hello, and caught up with all of them. But when she came in, I was already chatting away with other people. Well, that's the place you want to be, my friend. That is the place you want to be. You never brought up my ex in a conversation with them. Sweet. Well, you're at 5 months right now. You're starting to turn the corner, Mayo. You know that. What if my ex never introduced me to none of her friends? She said that's because they were males. We have been in a relationship for 6 months. What if I would have bought Bitcoin about 3 or 4 months ago when it was $3,000 or $4,000 and it's like 12 or 13 right now? And some friend of mine was telling me like, you got to get in. What if? I mean, whenever you start a sentence with what if, just stop and go, what if I never said what if again? What if I said shoulda, coulda, woulda is a bad word in the English language? Because you can't go back and do what ifs, man. You can't, bro. Bob Bellman, Bob B, how you doing, buddy? LA's finest. That's a red flag. She said that's because they were males. We have been in a relationship for 6 months. What if, I'm sorry, I lost my place here. Bob never brought up my ex in a conversation with. What if my ex never introduced me to none of her friends? She said that's because they were males. Yeah, that's a red flag. The one story I always tell people is like, you're with a new girlfriend or even someone you're dating, but you're kind of serious about, and you go to the mall or you go to a restaurant and you run into another guy. And I'm not really a jealous guy. You know, there might be a hint of it because humans have some jealousy, but I'm not someone to get upset. But if a guy comes over, gives your girl a hug, just talking to her, having a conversation, I believe it's your girlfriend's responsibility to say like, hey, this is Mac. And if that guy's a good guy and he's truly a friend, he'd go put his hand out and go, hey, nice to meet you. And with eye contact, oh, yeah, and ask a couple questions and have a conversation with you. If they both ignore you in that triangle, that's a fucking red flag, and that tells me that they hooked up before. I don't have a problem that they hooked up before, but I just find it disrespectful on both ends that you should be introduced. That's all. I don't need anything more than that. I don't need to be in the thick conversation because, oh, I know this guy from college or this or that. That's fine. But if someone just completely ignores you in that triangle, no. And I've seen guys have that happen before. I've had it happen to me once before with someone that I was dating. I wasn't serious. We were like seeing each other. And I think she did it just to fuck with me, but I thought it was rude as fuck. If a girl has almost all male friends, that's a red flag to me personally. I haven't had a girlfriend that had all male friends, but I had a girlfriend that was very popular and friendly and flirtatious and just had a bubbly personality. She was very outgoing. And everywhere you go, she'd be like, oh, that's my friend over there, and go talk to him, and it would be some guy. And it was just her personality. But some of these dudes you knew wished they had an opportunity to hook up with her. And she liked, even though she wouldn't admit it, she liked flirting a little bit, but she didn't cross the line. But sometimes it would bug you. And that same girlfriend, from what I've heard, has never really had a long-term relationship. She always is kind of lily-padding around. Tattooed eyebrows. Thanks for rolling in, Lee Roll. Tattooed eyebrows. I've actually had a girlfriend that basically her eyebrows were gone, and I didn't know it. I mean, they had like little bits of hair there, very, very scant. And woke up in the morning after dating her for, I don't know, a few months. And I guess she had it drawn in, but I guess it just wasn't just shaved. It was drawn in. I was just like, what the hell happened? I remember being like, were you burned or something when you were young? Like, why is it like that? I'm not being a jerk. And she was like, well, I'd never had my makeup off. It's like, whoa. I've seen some tattooed ones that look pretty real though. But I mean, on the flip side, as a man, I guess we don't have to deal with that level of grooming too. Am I interested in being friends with benefits? Give me a break. I just want to find a girl who loves me for who I am at the moment, or ATM, as you wrote. I have a girl from college wanting to date me. She hints at it 24/7. So what's holding you back, dude? Go for it. If she ain't got eyebrows, she ain't for me. Well, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you can't tell. I mean, when you look at a club or a nightclub or a bar, isn't it funny that you don't realize that the lighting's really good for how good you look? And you wake up the next day and let's say you hooked up with someone, or let's just say you got a number. I've got a number and you go on a date, another time than when you met them at a bar or a club. And you're like, wow, they look really different. Well, yeah, lighting, number one, and the fact that you were intoxicated on alcohol actually probably ups the scale on looks like 20-30%, right? If you see that person in the morning or the daylight, what's up, Josh? Who? I'm not best friends with an ex, but I'm friends with her. It took years of not speaking, though. Well, there you go. The smoke had to clear, right? And you're like, all right, I have no issues. I've moved on, and now I can be friends. It's just about holding grudges, really. and understanding why you broke up and that it's okay. I'm playing Mac. Other streams, everyone is so heartbroken and butthurt, but they can't take a joke. You let me joke around in here. Oh, really? Maybe that's why mine doesn't have 100 people on it or something. Someone's telling me before. I have a good time with these live streams. This is my kind of thing. I've had a couple friends actually. They're like, "Oh, I was in your live stream, but I didn't make any comments." But they were just like, "I like what that's really how you are." So, anyone got any questions here? We're waning. We got 6 people on deck. Topic: can you be friends with your ex? Can you really be friends with your ex? Do you want to be best friends with your ex? What does it mean to be friends to you? Are you interested in friends with benefits? How many friends do you really have? It's kind of a trick question, right? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I mean, this is like what, self-improvement 101, Tony Robbins shit, but it's actually really true. You really look at some of your friends and you're like, wow, you do pick up some habits. Men and women, like, period, Bob. This is an interesting thing, Bob, because I've had, there's a big movement of guys that'll say, like, you can't even just be a friend with a woman. For me, I think I can be friends with a woman. I know I can. I don't know why I said I think. I have friends that are women, but they're usually colleagues that you work with, and I wouldn't say they're friends that I'm going to hang out with all the time. There's someone that it's definitely less of a hangout thing. But I will say, in the back of your mind, with women that are your friends that you're attracted to, deep down in the hollows of your brain, you're like, yeah, maybe we'd hook up in the future. So maybe that's what you need, Bob. I'll admit to that. It's like in the back of your head, like, oh, maybe the timing's not right or this or that. And you're not playing some slick game or anything, but you're like down the road, Let's see here. That's what I mean. You can never be real friends. Men can be real friends. Men can be friends with women. There's always that thing in the background where yay or nay. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, Bob. I know what you mean by that. And well, you know what'll decide that, Bob? This is really interesting. When they get a boy, if they're single and you're friends, right? And then all of a sudden, when they got a new boyfriend, you're not really that good of friends anymore. Then that kind of is a truth serum for both of you. And I've seen it before where I've been friends and not close friends, but like then the guy comes around and is like, oh, you guys are friends? Da, 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 da. I'm like, you can have her. G Money, there are a lot of snowflakes. Should tell them you forgive them if they left you for someone else. Should tell them you forgive them if they left you for someone else. Only if you really forgive them. In your particular situation, I don't think you're there yet. Christian, at some point, dude, if you want to get a live coaching session, I'll give you your money back if it's not good, because you got a situation here that's been lingering on you, bud. I know you come in the live streams a lot and stuff, and I think you got to unpack this thing fully, because what happened in your situation was tough. She wants me for sex rumor, which is true. She's also showing me how she loves me. Oh my God, she did the same thing the girl from my hometown did. Don't break no contact to forgive them. They probably don't care if you forgive them or not. I think in a lot of cases that's true, and you just got to be honest. Why are you forgiving them? So sometimes people are forgiving with some kind of tab at the end of it. Well, if I forgive them, they should forgive me, or if I forgive them, they'll do this for me. If you forgive them, you just do it for yourself. I remember I had this one guy. One client, coaching client, really cool dude from New Jersey, teacher, and we did a live coaching session for 2 hours, went through everything, and was really good. And I don't know, like 3 or 4 months later, he was like, hey, man, her dog died. And he goes, her dog was really special to her. I just want to, tell her. I'm like, look, go ahead and do it. Just make sure you're not attached to the, commenting on the dog that's somehow going to get you guys back together. And he thought about it and he was like, you know what? I just went to church and said a prayer for the dog. Because he was being honest with himself. He's like, I'm like, if you're going to do something just for the dog, then when you hit her up or you send a note, you're just going to say, like, I'm sorry to hear about your dog. But you're not going to, like, is that a segue to small talk? And he's like, you know what? I've been dating this new girl I like a lot. I'm just going to say a prayer at church for the dog and that'll be good. And I'm like, well, then you're doing something nice for the dog. I ran a half marathon right now, doing 4K swim on Saturday in a lake. I'm really like a sportsman, but my ex said that she would date guys who's make more crunches than her. I'm 183 centimeters. She was 150. Well, thanks for the measurements, dude. I think I'm 183. 183 is 6 feet, right? I'm 6 feet tall. 183. I mean, if I was dating some woman, she wants to date guys that make more crunches than her, fucking move on. I mean, that's not even a red flag. That's just like, get away from me. I'm gonna do a Rocky movie to get you in bed or something. Come on, man. If you're in good shape, you're in good shape. If you exercise and you take care of yourself, that already. You don't need to prove that to an individual with some kind of fucking numbers. Agreed. Men and women cannot truly be friends. One person always wants secretly bone the other one. Yeah, I mean, it's in the annals of the mind. No pun intended. Is that not shaming? I don't know what you mean. Is that not shaming? I will not be friends with my ex. Started as a teammate in badminton duo, then dating, then no contact for 5 months. Wow, I haven't heard of many badminton duos turning out like that. Good for you. Good for you. Bob, we talk about exes. You can be friends to men and women if there is not attraction. Yeah, I mean, you could be like, what level of friends are you really, though? You know what I mean? Like, it's got to be more of a light friendship. Your live situation really helped me a lot, Mac. It was. Thanks, Bob. Yeah, me and Bob we talked for about an hour and a half, I think. It was good. It was good. It was really good. Well, doing the live coaching session, when I talk to people, I always ask them at the end, was this helpful or useful? Everyone says at the end, outstanding, good, great, happy with it. Because I will give you your money back. I don't want your money back. I don't want your money if you don't find it useful and helpful. I'm not going to snag your ex back for you. What's funny, Bob, is I just had a couple live coachings over the last couple of weeks where people got their exes back and they were like, thank you so much. And I was kind of like, well, I'm not taking any kind of credit for that. You did that. It worked out for you. But when you talk to me in a live coaching, it's much deeper. I think Bob would agree. It's much deeper than just what happened with your ex. We get into some other things because you're not defined by your ex. No, Leonardo, I haven't seen you for a while. No. All no friend with ex. Sabina, I agree with you. You can have her. I'm sure there's a sense of limerence. Wow. Have you used that word before? Being friends with the opposite sex, but set boundaries. You're 6 foot tall. Yes, I'm 6 foot tall. 6 foot tall. So jealous. I'm 5'8". Thought you were around that. 6 feet tall, but I got the little shoulders, 40 on a suit. So I've always had the long neck and the short shoulders is what they call it. Yeah. But yep, 6 feet tall when I'm standing straight up. Didn't grow to 6 feet till I was about 18 too. I was really short in high school. You're talking about high school before. Sorry, I lost my place there. Part of me hopes I never run into my ex in public because it would terrify me. The other part wants to show off how far I've come and how I didn't let it beat me. I was at a point at certain moments where I was like, yeah, I don't want to run into her. I don't want to run into a certain ex. And that just says something about not just how you feel about her, but you're probably placing her in a higher place than you need to be placing her. Because if you really feel good about yourself, eventually you're doing the right things and moving forward. When you do see her, it won't matter. And especially if you're seeing someone else because you replaced her. Hello, coach. I'm in no contact from 22 weeks already. So 22 weeks is what, 6 months? 6 times 4 would be 24. So you're almost on 6 months. I'm feeling pretty good. You should be. I'm continuing the marathon. Should I check sometimes her Instagram or nothing? No, don't check any social media. Keep riding on that no contact. At this point, you're all in. Stay all in. I don't really think that the goal is to get your ex back. It really has a lot to do with yourself, I found out. Yeah, exactly, Bob. That's why these couple of people I talked to, they were really thankful, and I appreciate it. Anytime someone says some praise about the work you do or you help someone out, it's great. But I just wanted to make sure, like, hey, some of the things we talked about, you still want to work on those and, think about them. Just because you got back with your ex doesn't mean it's all over. I agree, Bob. And Bob, you had a unique story for sure. Bob, that's the thing. Like everyone's breakup, that you might break up for an umbrella type theme or reason, like jealousy or cheating or something like that, which wasn't Bob's case. But the details in there and stuff like that, they're usually a little bit different and they're nuanced. I was given the book I Love You, But I'm Not in Love with You by Andrew G. Marshall. Learned about limerence in the first chapter. Yeah, limerence is a word that I just learned from doing this. Some people have used that before on the live stream and something else. It sounds cool. Money is... Sorry, I just got a text. Someone's coming into town. And all right. I'm on deck for another 20 minutes here, so let's get in everything we can. Money, G Money, is your ex some superhuman? I wanted to be friends with my ex again, but after what I did on Facebook trying to get in contact with her, I decided to forget it. She blocked me on social. If you get blocked, then I don't know what your choice is. If you get blocked on social media and you're still trying to contact them on social media, at that point, you're becoming kind of a stalker. You're not getting the message, and you don't have a lot of pride in who you are and where you're going. Because at that point, if they blocked you, they just basically said stop, right? And anything after that point, in most cases, is not going to be well received. No, not superhuman. I just get attached pretty easily, so breakups are difficult. It takes me so long to detach. Well, the longer you're together, the longer it takes to detach. Like I said before, probably the easiest way to detach is to completely move to a new place, because everything in that new place has no reminders. But that's not obviously easy for anyone. You should work on that. You gave me those ideas, Mac. It was you. Well, thanks, bud. I appreciate that, Bob. I appreciate that. One thing I'll add to that, just for the people in live stream, whenever I do live coaching, I usually go over the time limit. That's just if I have no one behind you, I always do it. And people are like, wait a minute, because we lose a little bit of track of time. I have no idea how to love without getting attached. But you're right. It's a skill I want to learn. I don't know, man. I mean, I think if you were trying not to be attached, you'd go into love half-ass. I don't know how you'd go about that. You're going to be attached in some ways. You certainly have to have your own life, which it sounds like you do, G Money, from what you've said in other live streams. Certain people are able to bounce out of a relationship really easy, and some others are like that. Mac, I need to book one. Let's do it. I'll email now. You should book one, bro. I told you I'll give you your fucking money back if you're not happy with it. Ask Bob. It's fine. It's one of those things. I'm at a point now where it's like, if you're talking to me a lot on these, this is great. I don't mind it. I love the back and forth. But if you're really going through it, then, sign up for an hour. And like Bob knows, I'll probably go over. if we need to. I don't have. Here's a quick thing. Called my ex out on ignoring me about me trying to understand what's going on between us. She now sends me 1 or 2 sentences a day for the last 4 days. Here's a quick thing. Called my ex out on ignoring me about me trying to understand what's going on between us. What's going on? I don't know if you want me to mention it, but that paternal thing, because Josh, I have a good memory. Did you find out if the baby's yours? She now sends me 1 or 2 sentences a day for at least 4 days. She's taking over the relationship again. She switched the tables and she's saying like, well, I'll answer you when I want to. If you get attached, your fear is losing it. If your fear of losing it, you will end up pushing it away. Yeah. It's kind of like I've seen someone talk about it before, like holding a small bird, like a baby bird or something. If you hold it too tight, you're going to crush it, kind of a thing. Okay, no problem. Christian, Hooper, Martin, we'll do it. We'll get in touch. And like I said, I'll give you your money back. If you get attached, your fear of losing it, loving without attachment is the only answer, but it seems impossible. I don't know. Mac, you knew that I wasn't in the best place, but I was waddling out. Your live session was really good and helped me quite a bit. Thanks. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. And I wouldn't stand by a guarantee if I haven't had enough coaching sessions to prove myself. So to say, thank you, Mac. I think I really like the sister of my ex. She is 10 years older than my ex. What should I do? I don't know. Does the sister like you? Just her and I in general. She said she loved me 2 days before her and her son went to Oregon. I asked about us moving there, and since then has pretty much stopped talking. By the way, I don't really know Mac. I've never met him, but it's just that his session really helped me out a lot. I live in Los Angeles. Thanks. Well, that's true, Bob. Any of the people I talk to on the coaching sessions, they know me from the channel. So yeah, when we first meet on Skype or FaceTime, with Bob, we actually used WhatsApp for some reason, which some people use now too. So it's always like that, but building rapport is something that helps. Hey, Leonardo, I love it. Date the sister. That's hilarious. I mean, Leonardo, what's your intentions if you like the sister? I mean, it's a funny thing, but does the sister like you at all? Just her and I in general. She said she loved me. Let me go over this. 2 days before, and her and her son went to Oregon. I asked about us moving there, and since then has pretty much stopped talking. So I don't know. I'd have to know more about why you're moving and whatnot. Josh, you were talking about doing a live coaching too. You might want to put some time and a little bit of cash into that. I think it'd be worth it for you because you got a tough situation, bud. You have a tough situation, Josh, and you're dealing with it quite well. I don't understand though why she would stop talking to you. Because she's at a point, if she's pregnant and she's in the position she's in, she needs to not be playing games, if I'm correct. Book it, Josh. Go ahead. I mean, these are great, and I appreciate everyone that comes on. Thanks, Bob, for joining today. I appreciate it. But if you're really going through it, I really do suggest, man. That's the website. She stopped talking because she said I was being pushy about her and I. Well, then take your foot off the gas a little bit and show her what it's like that you don't need to ask her all those questions. And if you don't feel like you were being pushy, then don't be sorry. If you feel like you were, tell her she won't do it. Her sister will. It's a song. Oh, you know what I'm working on, guys, and you'll like this because I only got 8 on deck. I just bought some equipment. I told some other people I bought a couple mics. I want to do some interviews. Actually, I want to get a co-host, maybe a woman, and take this more like a podcast or radio show. I don't even need to be on the camera all the time, I guess, but it's fun. I enjoy this. I just bought some equipment for it. And there's actually someone that was a live coaching client that's actually coming to Phuket today. He'll be here through the weekend. He was like, "Hey man, do you want me to go on one of the live streams and talk?" And I was like, "Do you want to show your face?" It's such an interesting thing with testimonials about breakups, because it's kind of a vulnerable thing, right? There's one of the advantages of doing a coaching session with me is that I don't know you. I'm not going to share your story or talk shit to your friend group about, that's what's so difficult. The fact that I don't know you kind of helps you unload everything. And a lot of times people are like, I'll leave you a testimonial, but I won't want to put my name. I'm like, I don't blame you. So I kind of stopped asking for people to do that, because I was like, I can see why you wouldn't want to attach your name to a heartbreaking moment. It's a little bit of vulnerability. Any questions here? Any questions moving forward? I got about a good 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes till my next appointment. This is a good run today. We didn't have a ton of people on, but we had a good conversation. Thanks, T Rose, G Money, the infamous Christian Martin, which I believe was a baseball player for some reason whenever I see that name. Mayo Legare. Mayo's always on deck. Dylan's on deck. The Tasmanian Beaver. AP4CH3 LOL. I'm not going to try to figure out what that means. I guess it's a password. Sabina SB, thank you. Nice picture. Who else do we have on deck today? Insayan. Thanks for sharing briefly. And that's about all the comments we got here, huh? Oh, no, Leonardo made a little cameo. Nice update, Mac. Thank you. I'd rather been on sooner, but was asleep. Woke up, saw you were live, and jumped straight on here. Thanks, bud. I'm glad. Slowly but sure, we got a little tribe running here. Might have an idea for next live. How did you deal with the breakup afterwards, or something else? Tazzy Beaver, that's a good one. Okay, better than calling you TB. How to deal with the breakup afterwards? Yeah, that's kind of a broad thing. I think that's something that's ongoing. My ex, after dumping me, started to smoke weed. Well, what do I think? I think that depending on where you live, where do you live, Leonardo? If I may ask, if you don't want to share that, that's fine. Maybe that's fucking personal. I don't know. I mean, but I'm from California, and I go back home, and that's like, they sell that stuff like Tic Tacs. I'm not against it. But I mean, like anything else, like drinking or one of these other things, it can become a problem, right? And I'm not sure if that's something you want your girlfriend to be partaking in regularly. But, I've partaked a few times in my time, so I can't say it's all bad. But the idea that it bothers you, I've had some people like, oh, my ex, they smoke all the time. They just smoke weed all the time, and they're just like so lazy. They're this and that. I'm like, do you? No, I don't. I hate it. Well, then it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, usually with Netherlands, okay, sweet, dude. All right. Well, then you're all legal for a long time, right? I mean, the question would be, do you have a problem with weed, with just random people? Is that something that bothers you about if that was your girlfriend? I mean, why would, because here's the weird thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, because this is kind of an interesting topic. I'm scratching my foot, by the way. I used to say that people that drink are sometimes allergic to drinking because their reaction's so fucking goofy, right? You've been around these people where you have to babysit them, or they get highly sentimental. And you're like, oh shit, so-and-so's drunk again. Fucking got to babysit them or watch them. It's like they're allergic to it. But really, I think they're acting out something subconsciously that they have issues with, and like drinking brings it out in them. And certain people with certain different things, they get different reactions to it. They're allergic to it. They're different. You know, there's plenty of people that blaze and smoke and toke, and they can be everyday part of life, and they have it highly. Look at Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? But then there's other people that, you know, just become lazy lumps and bitter and aren't a part, you know, aren't a contribution to society. So it's not necessarily alcohol or weed is the sole problem. It's a problem when it becomes a problem. It's a problem when it becomes a problem for that individual. So it's deeper than just saying like, oh, is it bad for someone? What do you think? Well, me personally, I wouldn't want my girlfriend to be a pothead and smoking all the time, but if she liked to toke here and there, fine. Coffee shops. My cousin started smoking for a bit, but after his girlfriend dumped him, luckily it wasn't weed or else. I should tell you that the situation's been since our life coaching about almost a year ago. Yeah, if you want to share that, Bob, go ahead. Had too much coffee. Got to go talk to you guys soon. Thanks again, Coach. No problem, Mail. Have a good one, bud. I hope you guys get Leonard. Hope he doesn't go to LA. I'm allergic by making me throw up, headaches, and extreme hot flashes from alcohol or herb. But yeah, that's what I mean. You know, like when you just generalize it, which is a lot of things, individuals have different reactions to it, and different individuals can, you know, handle it and others can. Some get goofy and some get paranoid. I smoked a lot while I was with her, but she actually let me stop. Now I stopped completely, but now I see she started to smoke weed, so it's a bit controversial. Well, the bottom line is she's your ex, so you shouldn't be keeping tabs on what she's up to, because you're just going to put stories to that, and really at this point that's on her if it's good for her or not good for her. But yeah, I can see how you'd be like, oh, now you start doing it after you told me to stop. I mean, getting in that tit for tat when you're broken up, it's not really going to serve you moving forward. So I will say this, when you're broken up, I do believe that any kind of medicine or blazing or drinking like that, I don't think it's going to help you feel better. It might help you feel better in a brief moment, but you have to be really acute and sensitive to what's triggering you to feel worse and not do that. And that's why I always tell people to exercise or get your sleep or change these things, because a lot of times those things will make you feel worse. You know, you'll be sitting there on the couch, and if you blaze a big J or something like that, you know, if they're okay with never seeing or talking to you ever again, they probably aren't your friend. True. Allergic to weed. I stay away from alcohol because it runs in my family, and my father passed away because of it. Not against it. It's just not for me. Well, that's a good reason to not be for it. Certainly runs in my family. That's for damn sure. My mom used to always tell me that too. It's like, oh, it runs in your family. You still gotta make your boundaries with it. G Money blazes every day as a self-medicating thing I'm working towards stopping, but if that's the worst addiction I have, then so be it. I work out and go to work, all that stuff. There you go. You're functional. You know, you're doing well with it, and you don't have a big problem with it, and it's legal for you probably. So, you know, at some point, just like if you drink every day, you might want to just see if you can take a break for a month and see how you feel, if there's a difference. See if you can walk away with it, and don't treat it as one of those things like, I'll never do it again. Just challenge yourself like that. That's all. Oh, you got epilepsy? Okay. I used to work with someone that had that. Yeah, you got seizures, man. You can't drink, but maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Might mess up your vocals. Got a few minutes left. Any closing questions, folks? This was good. Nice little hour in here. Nice little time frame at night. Dun dun. Leonardo 420. I actually met someone when I used to live in the Bay Area that I was in real estate, and this guy was older, and he was like, I invented that term because me and my friend used to get together at 4:20 in the afternoon or in the evening, and we just started that term. When me and this other guy that were like, we were agents, and we looked at each other. We're like, okay, yeah, sure, man, okay. Is it? I don't know, G Money. I wouldn't know about that. I don't know how this conversation got on all this stuff. That's why this show's good, though. That's why I'm going to extend it out. Get a couple mics in here, get some extra people on it, treat it like a little radio show. This has been good. All of a sudden, 12 on deck here. So our last chat has been about almost 10 months. My ex has been stalking me on social media and my mutual friends. Well, flip the tables. She knows you're a good guy and you got a lot to offer, Bob. You guys had a good relationship and you were a good part of that relationship. You would have bought a house for me for sure. Yeah, I was a real estate agent for almost 4 years. Yeah, in the Bay Area. Right before the market went nuts. I could still do it though. Yeah, for sure. A lot of the people I worked with too was like, oh man, you're like a friend. I've left her alone, closed the door, been dating other women and found one that I like. Right on, Bob. Good for you, bro. You deserve it. You're good people, man. I'll do my best to find time to schedule an appointment with you to get you up to date on everything. Gonna have to be soon because she returns on the 5th. Let's do it, bud. I relaxed, never mentioned her name to anybody else as you suggested, worked on myself. It all came to play. I'm happy. Thanks, Bob. I'm happy to hear that, man. I knew it would. Sometimes when people don't realize in this live coaching, and I think Bob would say the same thing because you don't know what to expect because I'm not a therapist. Most people say it's like talking to an old friend or someone they've known for a while. That's what I hear a lot. I think Bob will attest. I listen well, I ask good questions, and I do care. But your individual situation needs to be heard. And a lot of times it's on a time. If you go to a therapist, you only have an hour. If you go somewhere else, you need to like take that whole story and just get everything out. It's like throwing up and you still got a little bit more to go. It's like, get it out, repeat yourself, talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it helps because for the first time you got the whole story out instead of having just little bits. Now she stalks me all the time and it's almost a year. I wish her well, but sleeping around with other men was never for me, by the way, as you know, that was plural. Even though I got epilepsy in high school, I never let it stop me from spending time with my ex, especially in the holidays. Well, good for you, man. That's some of those things that's tough, but you can deal with it. You can combat it. All right, folks, I'm going to have to roll out. I really appreciate it. This was nice. It was a nice chat today. I appreciate it. I'm not sure if the subject has been touched. If you have time or you want to talk about it, but curious how you became a coach. I will save that for the next live stream. I've talked about that before. But right now I'm out of time. I got to talk to someone in about 6 minutes. So I got to set up here. But we'll talk about that again. And Josh, if you want to, deuces, Mac. Sweet. Deuce. I used to have a friend that used to call me Deuce. See you, Mac. Time for bed. Peace. You too, Dylan. Josh, if you want to book that, book it, bro. I'll be on the lookout for you. I already gave the website up here. www.rightmac.com. Book it, bro. All right. Talk to you.